Champagne and caviar, that's what it is every single day. That's not what it is at all. It's hard work. I wake up around 6:37, come to work pretty early. I'm here to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And basically what I'm doing is juggling teaching. I'm trying to figure out how to structure lectures, write lectures. I then go in and teach those lectures. The nice thing about our job is we're given a lot of time to plan our teaching. I only teach 2 classes here, which sounds crazy, I know, but it's so that I can sit there with the material and come in for those 2 classes and teach with really high intensity. I'm also working on my research and book projects, my own personal books and projects that I'm going to project out to other people. I'm working on films as well, documentary films, which is kind of cool aspect of doing history. So if you're interested in going to Hollywood, there's no reason why being a historian you can't go to Hollywood. I was just there. You got all these things going on, so you're never bored. It's like, okay, the class I got to teach, young minds, and then I've got this cool book project I'm working on, and the films and the radio. I think people look at historians, they're like super boring. And maybe they were. At one time, I met some of them. They seem really boring. I know why people think that. But our generation and the past several generations, I just don't think that's the case. It's really exciting and dynamic.
I'll typically line up phone calls related to transactions that are either already going on or a potential new transaction to diligence it out a little bit. Maybe they've sent me some information that I'm reviewing, but I have lots of questions. Other things, travel is frequent, typically anywhere from 1 to 3 days a week, depending on the week. Last week it was only 1. This week I think it's going to be none. The following week it could be 3 or 4 days that week. So that relates similarly to existing transactions where you're maybe in an acquisition situation or joint venture situation and you're trying to get the parties together to agree upon terms. That's where I was Friday. It was a letter of intent among my client who has something that they need both a operating and joint venture development partner as well as money for, and this potential partner that's working with them has all of those things, or at least can bring all of those resources. So we were for 3 hours investigating each other's wants and needs and trying to come up with a framework around that for an agreement. So that's a typical day's work.
I spend a lot of the time in the morning on calls with our London counterparts in the UK because of the time difference. So in the morning they're kind of ending their day and we're starting up, so it's a really great opportunity for us to have meetings across our global programs and across our global teams and really be able to plan for and execute on more of our global strategy. In the afternoons I spend a significant amount of my time doing all of the kind of internal work that we have going on. I do a lot of strategic thinking in the afternoon and working amongst my team. I spend a lot of time face to face with all of our different supporters or constituents or partners in some way, really just talking about how each of us are kind of working and aligning to meet this big goal and what we can continue to do together.
I start off with team calls some mornings, so get my team on call, do a quick 15-minute check-in, make sure everybody's kind of knows what they're doing for the day and have the tools that they need to accomplish that. Checking email, making sure that anything that came in overnight from our Hong Kong offices. From there, I would work on kind of our internal needs, making sure our clients are getting the responses they need, making sure my team members are getting the responses they need to do their jobs. Coca-Cola is a good example. We'll work with Coke. They'll come in, they'll say, okay, we want something that'll drive the sales of our 1 liter bottles. So we'll do 2 1 liter bottles, buy 2 1 liters, get a free item. We'll work on what that item is, how best to put it in market, work with them on how to activate that promotion and go from there.
It's actually not typical for most people. I love it. I have 7 children, so I have the great advantage of being home and they can hear my teaching. I usually teach after school and I have students I've taught anywhere from 3 all the way up to adults, and they study with me for usually an hour and do violin study once a week. So my job is very flexible. I get to be the manager of my own time and job, and that's wonderful, where I can also help my family as well as help the community and teach.
Every day is different. I work out of my home, checking my emails, making some phone calls, scheduling some appointments. Sometimes it's going on client sites. My calendar seems to always be busy, whether it's behind my desk or whether it's out and about networking with people, finding out what other people are doing, marketing my business, or being on site with a client.
Starts out with our weekly meeting. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours. The nicest thing about that is I find out what everybody else is working on, and I get pulled into a lot of different projects. One day I might be writing a grant, the next day I might be writing a press release. So it's good to know the things that might be dropping down on me later. And then things get less easy to predict. I might spend almost an entire week, the first week of the month, just writing and posting social media because I try to get it all done the first few days of the month so I don't have to worry about it. Another week I might be doing all emails out. Typical week I would be writing 2 or 3 emails. I would be probably writing 3 or 4 press releases depending on what's going on. I might spend a whole week working on a particular project. I'll pretty much spend my whole week researching and writing that particular project. The weeks are never the same. You do something different every day, and that's one of the things that's fun about it.